Welcome to round 4 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of July 20th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
As moms of teens and young adults, we've survived those little kid days, yet we're still rethinking the decisions we've made all through our kids' lives and worrying about what's going on right now. Today's Thursday, which means it's time to give into our obsessing. And today we are obsessing about mistakes we have made. Welcome to the Mom Confessional. So, I did something this week.
Just one thing?
I will confess that I knew not to do it. I asked my husband, should I do this? And he said no. And yet, like a moth to a flame, I just went right in and screwed up. So, my daughter, I think we were talking yesterday about independence, and I said that I'm so proud of my daughter because she handles all her doctor stuff, and, she does it all independently, and it's great. She has sort of ongoing foot problems, I think mostly from having dropped a bowling ball on her big toe at camp one year as a child, and so she's had ongoing unpleasantness from that toe ever since. And she has found herself a podiatrist that she likes. She has a good relationship with this podiatrist. The receptionist knows her and really likes her. And so anytime she has a problem with her foot, she makes herself an appointment with the foot doctor. She goes over, she gets it taken care of. I don't have anything to do with it. It's great. So one time she came home and she said, the doctor said maybe I should have this thing done that would permanently solve this one particular problem with an ingrown nail. And she said they would put an injection in and then they would do something and then it would be permanently taken care of. And I said, well, why don't you Google what they were talking about and see if you can figure it out? Because that sounds like, if they're talking about permanent, that sounds like a serious thing. And we should think about this and we should plan about it. And I didn't hear anything more about it. And then all of a sudden the other day, she goes over there to pay her bill. If she gets a bill from them, she drives over there. She pays the bill in person by check. And that's fine. And she said, well, when I went over there to pay the bill, I just made an appointment for today to have that thing done. And I'm like, what? Did you research it? Did you look into it? Have you thought this over? They said permanent. It must be serious. And she's like, no, it's fine. It's really nothing. They're just going to take care of this ingrown toenail thing. And I'm like, I start Googling, and looking at things. I think they're going to take off her entire nail. I think that's what it is. I think that's why they're saying it's permanent. Does she know they're going to take off her entire nail? You won't have a nail there anymore. And I went and I talked to her and she said, I don't think that's what it is. I said, well, do you want me to call them and make sure? And she said, well, I guess it's okay with me. So I called and I said, this is her mother. And she was just talking about this and she couldn't explain to me exactly what it was. And since it's permanent, I want to make sure. And she said, oh yeah, we're just doing something to get rid of the ingrown nail so it won't come back again. So basically exactly what she had told me. She had understood it perfectly. It was no big deal. And I said, oh well, okay, Mama, we'll stand down. I'm sorry. Goodbye. And I said, when you go there, feel free to roll your eyes and say, my mom is such a babe. It's so embarrassing. But it's like, she had it completely in control. There was no need for my input. Even if it was a big deal, it's her foot. It's her choice to make. I was a little antsy about it because she had gotten this great schedule at work where she was working more hours than she usually works. And I was so excited about that. And it's like, this is the week you choose to get your foot procedure done. But it's still her business. And so not only did I embarrass myself, but I sort of made it seem like maybe she can't, to the doctor, like maybe she can't make her own decisions. Maybe she doesn't understand things. And that's not good. I don't want to insert that into their relationship. So, mom, bad mom, bad. Go sit in the doghouse, hang your head. Why did you feel like you had to get involved? It's like, we took the independence is hard and every now and then it's impossible not to get involved. But this was such a small thing. It was so unnecessary. And yet I could not stop myself from making it worse. Boo. So I do, when I do things like that, I give my kids permission to trash talk me to whoever I embarrass myself in front of and, make it look like my problem. Because I deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I am the problem. I am a little much. I feel better now. I've publicly humiliated myself now.
A little extra.
A little extra.
I am absolutely a little extra and then some. So, have you guys done anything recently that can make me feel better in knowing that I am not the only person who's a little extra? Anybody else had any bad behavior?
Well, so last week it's a long story that, whatever. I got quarantine shamed, online for something. And, I was telling my daughter about it. Like, when these kind of things happen, of course, I have to tell people about it to make myself feel better, right? Like
Yes.
I don't know why, but I was texting with a friend in New Jersey, and like I told her the whole story, and including screenshots and like all this stuff. And then for whatever reason, I told my daughter this story, and then she's like, "Well, who was it?" And then that's where I said, I don't think I'm going to tell you."
Oh, no.
Because in a very roundabout way, she might kind of know this person or know who she is. And, so I felt like, I just, wait, no, never mind. Forget I said anything. Rewind, exactly. Like, I should just keep my mouth shut. Like, there was no reason to even get into it if I wasn't going to, fully tell the story. So I did feel kind of silly after doing that. Like, I need to just own the situation instead of like complaining about it behind the person's back, basically, which is what I was doing.
Yes. Those are the things you wish there was some sort of alarm bell that would go off when you were close to doing that, but I would totally ignore it.
Right.
And then I would realize afterwards that, oh yeah, that's what that noise was.
Right. Oh no. Yeah. So that was embarrassing.
Yeah. How about you, Nicole? Have you just been a paragon of perfect motherhood? Do you have any sins to confess?
I was pretty off my rocker this past week. I have to admit.
Rockers are hard to stay on.
Yeah.
They tip.
As my daughter said, I was whacked. I just, for whatever reason, got super hyper-focused on this one particular thing, and my daughter got super hyper-focused on not doing it. So I just was relentless, as my mother says, like a dog chewing on a bone. And I was a little over the top in the way I encouraged her to do it. So I could have, like really in the big picture, what's the big deal? But then I'm trying to teach her independence, and then because I felt like I failed. And so there's all those things, see last podcast. There's all those things that are running through my head. So I think it was just more my, oh my gosh, I've got to, this is going to be it. This is going to be the thing that changes her life if she does it.
Oh, man.
And so it just, it was not, I could have been far more patient, and I could have been far more respectful.
But you get so invested, and then it's like impossible to stop.
Oh, it's like a train going on the track. It's like, it's not stopping, and it takes too long to stop. And the weight of the cars behind you are pushing you forward.
That's right. You just have to go off the mountain. There's nothing else.
There's just no other option. Like you're in so deep. It's like, and eventually it doesn't end well.
Do you ever get to that point with your kids where you just, you like leave your body for a second and you just hear yourself talking and talking and talking and talking well past the point where there's any reason, any useful reason for it?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, just shut up. But, and yet still the words keep coming out.
Or you're realizing like, oh my gosh, I am being the person I never wanted to be.
Right.
I have become my mother.
Yes.
And I am powerless to stop it.
It's so disturbing.
It really is.
So I could have been a way better person this week.
Well,
hopefully
I'm sure our meal culprits here will just keep us from doing these things ever again. This is the first and last time we will have to sneak into the mom confessional, right?
That's right.
We've learned our lesson.
You'll never hear this again. When we're going to wrap this up and say that's it for today's round 4, and no more mistakes can be made.
That's it. Yes. We're now perfect.
Yes. But tune in tomorrow when we'll share our roundup of things we've been using or enjoying lately that we think deserve a shout out. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.